support President Muhammadu Buhari.
That Nigerians should keep hope alive, and for him, just give him a little time, a lot of things will happen, and I tell you, like he promised us, and we stand by that, that Nigeria will experience exit of recession in 2017.
He also called on the government to abolish multiple taxation. Serafina Okon, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has been commended for his directive on the immediate release of the London-Paris refund money to states. Kwara State Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed gave the commendation in an interview with Adebola Brookslyn Sunday.
For me, we are very excited. We are very happy with it. It shows that there is a very sensitive president who is very familiar with the hardship that states are going through. That salaries should be paid, because that's where people pay fees from. People pay their, pay their bills. People pay their rent. People feed. It's all coming from salaries. So it's very basic and requires to be met before we even begin to talk about other things. That is why it's going to come handy at this material time. So for me, the president has done exceptionally well in helping to support this area.
Of what impact will this directive be to your financial hardship?
But we're sure that these monies will not only come to help ameliorate the hardship being felt in payment of salaries, and also help to quickly take a lot of ongoing capital projects that either to have been stalled as a result of low funding.
The governor appreciated the trust President Buhari reposed on them to judiciously use the fund. To the judiciary now, where the Federal High Court in Abuja has set aside the acquisition Malabu oil by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Justice John Soho, who gave the ruling, said the orders of forfeiture was not ropes in law. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okewo tells us more.
On the 26th of January, the EFCC obtained an ex parte order to seize oil prospecting license 245 oil block, otherwise known as Malabu oil. Just after the court finished hearing arguments on the substantive matter, Malabu oil sought to be joined in the matter. So, at Friday's sitting, Justice John Soho first ruled on the joinder, saying that the attempt to arrest his ruling was not known to law. He said that the application was ill-conceived, bereft of substance, and that the refusal to hear Malabu oil will not be a denial of fair hearing. The court then proceeded to deliver its ruling on the seizure of the OPL 245, which the judge said had been ready since the 13th of March. Lawyers who stood in for the parties were not available for comment, but Mohammed Abacha volunteered comments on behalf of Malabu oil.
What the judge did this morning was expected. We thought so also. And I think it is in line with what we witnessed.
In Abuja, Femi Okewo, NTA News.
Now, ahead of the formal inauguration of Operation Haskibiu at the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji, the Nigerian Television Authority says it remains committed to its primary responsibility as a media organization focused on the unity and peaceful coexistence in the country. This was stated at the coordinating conference held in the college. Ahmed Mohammed Usman reports.
Participants were drawn from various security formations within and outside the country and media organizations, among others. Director News Aliu Bababaro emphasized the need for synergy by relevant agencies in the fight against insurgency so that all the security challenges are surmounted.
Operations such as the military's operations, actually, it needs concerted effort. Everybody, all hands must be on deck. And particularly the media, NTA has been a partner as far as the military operations in this country is concerned.
So Haskibiu provides a platform where we bring all the agencies together, the security agencies together, to work in concert with the military and prepare themselves against intervening in internal security situations within the country.
There's no way you handle internal security crisis that you will not find drugs. Go to terrorist camps, you find...
Because when it comes to issues of security management, at times the rights of people are being violated. And when we get involved in some of these processes, bringing stakeholders together. We can leverage information.
In Kaduna, Haman Muhammad Usman, NTA News.
A bit on the legislature, the Senate Committee on Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, has asked the management of FEMA to use effectively money meant for the rehabilitation of roads across the country and ensure even distribution of projects. The chairman of the committee, Magnus Abe, who gave this indication at the committee's sitting with the FEMA management, further said that the 10 billion naira presently in the FEMA's account must be fully utilized to ensure that projects are completed within financial year of expenditure. National Assembly correspondent Rabi Musa has details.
5 of the bills upon which the public hearing was conducted were transmitted from the House of Representatives for concurrence by the Senate. The FCT Minister Muhammad Musa Bello said one of the bills, the FCT Tenancy Agreement Bill, which include regulations for the recovery of premises and rent control, will protect the rights of both landlords and tenants.
The resolve by the National Assembly to enact relevant laws for the effective administration of the Federal Capital Territory is therefore a welcome relief to all of us.
The senators urge members of the public to come up with inputs to enrich the bills.
I will also make sure that we facilitate and fast-track these bills so that we pass the necessary legislative process.
The current bill seeks to enhance the living standards and administrative structure.
The establishment bills are to provide to the already existing agencies the required legal backing.
The committee has resolved to receive additional inputs within the next 6 weeks by the FCT administration on the bill to guide the activities of the FCT area councils. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
It was actually Abdullahi Minu's report, and not Rabi Musa has earlier stated. Moving on now, no efforts will be spared to bring a speedy end to the crisis in Benue State involving herdsmen and indigents of the state. Speaker House of Representative Yakubu Dogara gave the assurance while addressing the vanguard against Thief Massacre, which held a peaceful protest at the National Assembly. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adegoloye reports.
There are people who are running away from the Fulani herdsmen. There are people who have not slept in their homes for 2 weeks plus. There are people who have abandoned their ancestral homes.
Standing in for the Speaker, who had directed them from plenary to hear from the group, Representative Doye Diri emphasized that this step by the Speaker is a clear demonstration of the House's commitment to a speedy resolution to the crisis.
Your members raised this same issue just on Tuesday, and unanimously all of us in the House agreed with him and passed that motion. And that means that the House has started to do something about the killings.
They assured of full transparency and cooperation with the executive to resolve the crisis. From the National Assembly, Dennis Adegoloye, NTA News.
Now, bail is free, but how realistic is this? Well, you get to find out as we join Ademola is in our Lagos Network Center for details of these and much more. Hello, Ademola.
Hello, Joseph. Good afternoon and warm welcome to Lagos. The lingering poor performance of students in science subjects in West African Senior School Certificate Examination has remained a source of concern to all stakeholders, and particularly the West African Examination Council, WAEC. To this end, the Council at a press briefing in Lagos says it is dedicating a day in its 65th annual Council meeting scheduled to hold in Abuja to address some of the issues responsible for the development and to call on stakeholders to take action for a reversal of the trend. Jane Ujuku reports.
For a country to record a meaningful socioeconomic development, the study of science and technology plays a pivotal role. This informed the growing concern among stakeholders on the poor performance of Nigerian students in WAEC examinations. says it is committed to reversing the trend.
The topic is how the nation and even other member countries of WIAC could look at how to revamp the interest of students at secondary school level in sciences. Then we can be talking about finding a way to improve the performances of students in science.
The 65th Annual Council meeting will also provide a platform to reward best students in WAS in West Africa and best performing students in Nigeria. The council members, who are drawn from all the member countries, will also deliberate and ratify decisions on disciplinary actions against students and staff found guilty of examination malpractices, among other issues.
This is an opportunity to meet with the members representing the 5 countries and to discuss issues relating to WIAC, relating to education in the member countries, and where there seems to be differences, we harmonize, and we also know how to move forward from there. We are expecting His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in charge when it comes to opening.
The annual council meeting, which is rotated among member countries, is being hosted by Nigeria. It was last hosted by Nigeria in 2012. In Lagos, Jane Ojukwu, NTA News.
It is a common feature nowadays at every police station to see the inscription, "Bail is free," publicly displayed at the entrance. This is not just an ordinary statement, it has a legal backing. The question then is bail actually free in Nigeria? Rotimi Oluwagbemi went out to feel the pulse of Lagos residents on this issue.
A cross-section of respondents were of the opinion that bail is not free in Nigeria police stations. Some of them narrated their experiences with the police on the bail issue.
I was arrested, but then when we got to the station, they said everybody bail yourself. So we were asked to pay money. So I don't know whether it is free in other places. Though they write bail is free in police stations.
Bail is not free. When they take police on station, they'll collect money. If you don't have money, they took you to court. From there, you meet yourself in Ikoyi.
I can tell you, bail, as far as police stations are concerned, are not free. It's priceable, depending on the gravity of the offense.
What is the position of the Nigeria Constitution on bail?
And when you're being arrested by a police officer, then the next step is you're entitled to a bail, because what you are charged for, what you'll be charged for, or what you are arrested for is a bailable offense.
The police public relations officer, Zone Command Headquarters, Dolapo Badmus, situate police position on bail.
The leadership of the force are doing a lot to ensure corruption is being eradicated within the force. And part of it is letting bail be free.
Nigerians are advised to know their fundamental human rights, and should there be a breach of these rights, they should report to appropriate authority for redress. In Lagos, Rotimi Oluwagbemi, NTA News.
Women have been enjoined to ensure that they know their genotype before marriage, as this awareness would limit sickle cell birth. Speakers at a forum on sickle cell disorder disclosed this at a talk shop on the disorder in Lagos. Lynn Lenike reports.
Sickle cell disorder is an inherited form of anemia, a condition in which there is not enough healthy red blood cells to transport adequate oxygen through the human body. Those with the disease suffer a higher than average frequency of illnesses and premature deaths, especially at infancy. It is against this backdrop that the Genotype Foundation in Nigeria is sensitizing women on issues of sickle cell disorder and how to discourage women and girls from finding themselves at the receiving end.
Everybody should know their genotype before getting married. So if you know you're at risk of having a child with sickle cell, immediately you have a child, you should check for the genotype of the child.
Medical experts present practical prevention and management tips.
And once the genotype is checked, you should put in measures in place that will prevent your child from having crisis, such as taking the adequate vaccines necessary for a child with sickle cell. So children with sickle cell have some special vaccines they also need to take apart from the routine vaccination. The child should start folic acid from as early as possible and should be registered in a dedicated sickle cell clinic where they are being checked even when they are not ill.
This forum by the Genotype Foundation Nigeria is part of activities to mark the International Women's Day.
We also want the women to be bold about this issue of sickle cell. No more stigmatization, no stigma, feeling, oh, I am being relegated and all the stuff. Then the mothers also to be bold, to say, yes, my daughter or my son is living with sickle cell. It doesn't matter. It's not a life-death sentence.
Theme for the forum is sickle cell disorder, hemoglobin, genotype group, and the Nigerian woman, the end receiver. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
And that does it from Lagos. It's back to you, Joseph, for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Ademola from our Lagos Network Center there. Now, let's take you a little backwards to our earlier story in which we told you that the Senate Committee on Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, has asked the management of FEMA to use effectively money meant for the rehabilitation of roads across the country and ensure even distribution of projects. The chairman of the committee, Magnus Abe, who gave this indication at the committee's sitting with the FEMA management, further said that the 10 billion naira presently in the FEMA's account must be fully utilized to ensure that projects are completed within financial year of expenditure. National Assembly correspondent Rabi Musa tells us more now.
The FEMA management appeared before the committee to explain progress of work of FEMA in 2016 with a view to charting a new course of its project execution in 2017. Committee Chairman Magnus Abe charged the FEMA management to put more efforts in project execution and timely completion across the nation.
I want to ask FEMA to issue an official statement asking all contractors with contracts awarded under the 2016 capital appropriation vote to proceed to sites immediately.
The acting managing director of FEMA, Peter Ibu, who pleaded for extension in the use of the 10 billion naira in the agency's account, said most contractors have already been mobilized to site, while certificates are being processed for others to be paid.
Since the last meeting, we have made some payments.
Committee members insisted that FEMA management should submit details of various contracts, where such contracts are located, level of work done so far, and monies awarded to each project. The committee further fixed Thursday, 23rd March for expanded meeting with both FEMA and the Ministry of Federal Ministry of Works to adequately cover issues on road maintenance by FEMA across the country. Rabu Musa, NTA News.
Direct involvement of Nigerian engineers in the execution of development projects is of necessity because of the importance attached to local input in the nation's infrastructural facilities. Minister of Science and Technology Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu expressed this view with the leadership of the Nigeria Society of Engineers, who are urging the minister to address issues concerning sourcing of utility products from overseas against the establishment of relevant factories for local manufacture of such products. Science correspondent Keriano Mayo reports.
The Nigerian Society of Engineers showed particular interest in the procurement of speed limiting device by the Federal Road Safety Corps, which is being sourced from Kenya. Minister of Science and Technology Dr. Ogbonnaya used the occasion to present to the engineers locally fabricated and configured speed limiter by the Shedder Science and Technology Complex (SHESCO). The device has 4 gigabyte storage system, GPS, and double printed circuit.
Those who wanted to supply or won the contract to supply, if they could go to Kenya, then it means that when we start producing, the other countries will also come here. And besides, we have the largest market in Africa, and we also have the strongest economy.
President of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Otis Anyeji, told the minister that the society wants Nigeria to record huge industrial growth that can guarantee sustainable job creation.
We understand that the retail price of this device is about 40,000 naira. Maybe now it should be more with the career of the Naira. But because the FRSC is targeting commercial vehicles complying immediately with the installation of these devices, we estimate that about 1 million of such vehicles will be involved. And on the face of it, this translates to a 40 billion industry.
Nigerian Society of Engineers is known for its unflinching belief in the adoption of indigenous technology. Kirian Umayo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the need to restructure and resuscitate technical colleges across the country in order to turn around the fortunes of technical education and encourage professionalism in engineering practice has been emphasized. This was the position of the President's Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, Koren, Kashim Ali, during a press briefing on the outcome of the first quarter council meeting for 2017. Accreditation of engineering programs in the universities, creation of projects and facilities management unit, registration of engineering personnel and consulting firms were some of the fallouts of the meeting.
SMEs are the greatest motivators of GDP growth. Now, in our case, we had this technology running well in the olden days. As a matter of fact, people were given some bonuses to go to technical colleges. Today, the technical colleges are in shambles and a ghost of themselves. The president is concerned about it, but there's not enough to show for it. So we want to help remind him of his promise on this issue so that we can get technical colleges working again and our country also working.
Mr. Ali said they also deliberated about the unethical behavior of one of its members and deferred the matter to investigation panel. Koren's mandate empowers it to regulate and control the practice of engineering profession in all its ramifications. Colleges of Education Academic Staff Union has expressed concern for government to give more attention to the plight of the colleges. Emmanuel Asaga, who briefed journalists in Abuja, says the appalling state of learning resources in the colleges, the non-implementation of promotion and non-payment of promotion arrears, as well as shortfalls in personnel grants since 2015 are lingering issues. While appealing to some state governments to address the welfare concerns of their employees, the union urged the federal government to intervene in alleged impunity by some provosts.
A lecturer who attended a polytechnic and obtained a HND from that polytechnic and went ahead to study to have a PGD, and after a PGD sought admission in a university and got himself admitted to do a master's program. After attending and getting a master's program, a master's degree, he went ahead and got a PhD, and he is being asked by the provost of that college to go back and run a first degree to be qualified for promotion. And this is something we must not tolerate. It is important that as we speak now, this degree of impunity, even to be promoted from one level to the other, and somebody is saying he cannot be promoted.
The union also urged the federal government to urgently address the lingering issues to avoid distortion of the academic calendar in colleges of education. Taraba State tackles menace of drug abuse, and Benue State inaugurates economic team. Charles Sabah brings us up to speed on these and more.
Thank you and welcome to Makudi. Governor Samuel Otom has inaugurated the state economic team with a charge to evolve ideas that will take the state out of economic recession to the path of prosperity. Achibli Magaji reports that the team has as its chairman, Professor Dennis Ichiavia.
As an advisory body to the state government, the economic team is to, among other things, serve as core technical team of Benue State in guiding and maintaining all economic activities of the state in line with the 2015 to 2019 development blueprint. In doing this, the governor urged the team to provide clear channels for communicating and articulating business and economic ideas in line with the policy of government for economic recovery.
To process directives from the executive governor and from the Benue State Executive Council
regarding the state economy. 5, to interact with potential investors with the aim of aligning their plans with the state government development agenda.
The chairman of the team, Professor Dennis Itavia, expressed gratitude for the privilege given them to serve and promised not to take it for granted. The economic team has the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Mr. Mike Gusa, as secretary. In Makudi, Achiglimagaji, NTA News.
The Federal University of Wukari, Taraba State, has signed a memorandum of understanding for collaborative research, staff training, and exchange with 3 universities in the United Kingdom. The Vice-Chancellor of the institution, Professor Abubakar Musa Kundiri, disclosed this at the maiden convocation of the university. Joseph Saondo Osen reports.
Established in 2011, the Federal University of Wukari is forging ahead with its vision to becoming a world-class center for learning through institutional mechanism and synergy with critical partners. At the maiden convocation of the university in Wukari, the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Abubakar Musa Kundiri, said the memorandum of understanding with universities of Manchester, Wolverhampton, and Colorado are part of measures to position the institution to a global acclaimed height.
It was therefore apparent that I was going to be facing a multitude of challenges, and that includes the task of remodeling and rebuilding a university that is 5 years old and a unique platform.
The visitor to the institution, President Muhammadu Buhari, was represented by Dr. Muhammad Kumo of the Federal Ministry of Education.
Government will continue to fund universities and other tertiary institutions through the appropriate bodies.
16 first-class graduates produced by the university at the convocation are to be considered for automatic employment and further training to doctorate level by the institution. Other highlights of the occasion are the installation of the Chancellor, His Royal Highness, the owner of Abaji, Alhaji Adamu Yanusa, who along the Akuka of Wukari, Dr. Shakaru Engu Musaibi, Kuvio II, received an award of honorary degree of letters from the institution, while former Minister of Defense, General Theophilus Yakubu Danjuma, bagged a honorary degree of science. From Wukari, Joseph Saondo Oten, NTA News.
That report by Joseph Hossein rounds off our contribution from Makudi. Joseph, it's back to you.
Okay, Charles. You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. You're watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Let's pause for some messages. More reports when we come back. Stay with us.
Change does not just happen. You and I and all of us must appreciate that we all have our part to play if we want to bring change about. We must change our lawless habits, our attitude to public office, and public trust. We must change our unruly behavior in schools, hospitals, marketplaces, motor parks, on the roads, in homes and offices. To bring about change, we must change ourselves by being law-abiding citizens.
Does it make common sense to you to be unhappy the morning right after the night you were happy? Did your elders teach you that wisdom is captured in these 3 sentences? Make money, spend money, have no money.
How can you ask a man to spend 18 million on marrying you when I can use that same amount to marry an entire community?
If we spend the money, 18 million, know that the man is a thief.
What do you think?
My thinking machine is having problems. That is what you do when you put all you have into a party to impress those who may not even afford to spend like that.
See, I'm planning a birthday bash with a sum of 2 million naira.
expensive ceremonies. It's another funny and educative episode of your rib-cracking comedy, Professor John Bull, showing at 8:30 p.m. every Tuesday and Friday on NTA Network International and Star Times.
Over and out.
Brought to you by Glow.
Welcome to the new speed of life.
Discover the true diversity of Nigerian food as we share how we prepare, cook, and enjoy our local dishes. Delicious Niger, brought to you by Maggie, showing on these stations.
Do you crave class? Do you have taste? And do you care about comfort? If you do, then for your next event, a stay away from home, a business trip, or a holiday, visit Jade's Hotel at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja. Check out our world-class services, exquisite suites, restaurant and bar, gymnasium, spa and grills, and our outdoor catering services and cuisines. At Jade's, it can only be better. For bookings and reservations, visit us today at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja, or visit www.jadeshotels.com. Our email address is info@jadeshotels.com. You can also call us on 09291-9321 or 0810-909-7956. Jade's Hotels, welcome to life.
In season 2, we met Hannah in Akrapok, a 6-year-old whose heart condition was preventing her from leading a normal life.
The problem is so dangerous for my daughter.
We revisit her 9 months after her life-changing operation. And for young orphan Taiwo Simbiat, life with her grandmother is hard.
The day I got to their house, she was lying down there. She was virtually bedridden.
And without immediate intervention, her future looks bleak.
NTA Television College, an affiliate of Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, a specialized institution charged to provide quality professional education in television production, engineering, and journalism. The college is offering 4 weeks course on principles and practice of marketing for marketing heads in radios and television houses, public relation agencies, media heads in advertising, brand support managers, media brokers, and heads of corporate affairs. Date 20th of March to 14th April 2017. Registration 100,000 Naira with accommodation. Course will take place at NTA Television College Rayfield Jos. For more inquiries, call 08069809807 or call 07036607155 or email us at ntacollege@gmail.com. NTA Television College, training you to be the best you want to be.
You were right! You've just won 2 million. Yeah!
UAC Unscripted. Hilarious.
Go shorty, it's your birthday. Go shorty.
Unscripted.
Talk something, talk something. Okay.
UAC Unscripted. Nigeria's newest family fun. Showing on NTA Network, 8:30 p.m. every Monday. UAC Unscripted. Comedy uncensored.
For over 25 years, I have been privileged to anchor various programs on television. But the news program that I find most exciting and challenging is The Weekend File. This is largely because of its philosophy of engaging all classes of people, the artisans, politicians, technocrats, captains of industry, and professional analysts on issues that touch all aspects of life and living. In the conversations that follow, you find complexities, different views, ideologies, thought patterns, and individual beliefs. It's quite engaging. We do this Saturdays on NTA Network Service at 9 p.m. It's Weekend File, but you call it Weekend Companion, and it's all about nation building. Join me, Kirian Umayo, and production crew every Saturday for this weekend treat, and I can tell you that it is unmissable. Make it a day.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching Nationwide with me, Joseph Johnson. The head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Winifred Oyoita, has inaugurated a client center that will serve as a support mechanism to ensure that the Federal Integrated Staff Housing Program, FISH, is simple and transparent. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday again has details.
The FISH Implementation Committee, in a meeting with key players in the housing sector, deliberated on modalities to further make the process affordable and easier for off-takers, after which they inspected the client center where staff of the FISH Secretariat are to attend to applicants.
Our staff help them fill the form, and they have all the necessary information that guides them to make a decision as to which of the developers or which category of house they are interested in. So we want to assure civil servants that this administration is determined to make FISH work.
This center will help a lot of prospective applicants not only to submit their forms but to make inquiries where they have doubts or they don't know what information to fill.
The number of developers that have come to us now, they're over 100. They're ready to put their land, their resources, their money at our disposal.
What civil servants are actually supposed to do is to key into houses that are commensurate with their own income. And if they have to go outside their own income, they have to use their savings to bridge that.
So yes, we are looking at ways of bringing down the cost, but with the right support in terms of infrastructure and other things.
The Federal Integrated Staff Housing Program, FISH, is part of the present administration's efforts to boost the morale of workers through affordable housing. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
Governor Wike inspects projects plus a look at federal government homegrown feeding project. Details of these and more as we link up with Furo in our Port Harcourt studio. Hello Furo, it's good to see you.
Hello, you're welcome to Port Harcourt. River State Governor Nyesom Wike says his administration is building the culture of commitment to the service of the state. The governor stated this after inspecting ongoing projects across the state in company of some state executive council members and members of the River State House of Assembly. Karina Igonikon now reports.
Governor Wike said his administration is raising the bar on project initiation and execution because there is need to depart from the culture of substandard and abandoned projects. He said that by the end of his tenure in office, he would have a legacy of quality projects across the state.
We can now relax that by the grace of God, come May, those projects will be complete. Particularly, you see the community center. Sometimes when you send budget to the State Assembly, some of them may be asking what kind of money is this. But when you go and see the project themselves, they will have a second thought that, look, even the money approved may not exactly be enough.
Some legislators on the tour were impressed with the quality of work done, noting that the governor has exhibited prudent management of funds.
We have come, we have seen, and we are impressed. We are satisfied. He's really a project governor. He has proven himself to the assembly members as well as the entire state.
What we've seen, it shows that the budget is being implemented. That's what we've seen here. And if he comes asking, definitely we'll approve more for him to work.
Some of the projects inspected were the ongoing work at the second phase of the Nkpogu Bridge, landscaping at the Air Force Overhead Bridge, and the Port Harcourt Pleasure Park. Others include the Nembe Bonny Jetty and the Christian Ecumenical Center. In Port Harcourt, Karina Igonikon, NTA News.
Our two-day stakeholders workshop on homegrown school feeding program of the federal government has opened in Port Harcourt. This is part of the government's efforts to alleviate the sufferings of the less privileged persons in the society. Informer Omesa reports that the Secretary to the River State government declared the workshop opened on behalf of Governor Nyesom Wike.
The Homegrown School Feeding Program brought together stakeholders from different sectors to fashion our ways to assist the less privileged persons to get the best education and to be properly fed. Program Manager National, Homegrown School Feeding Program, Abimbola Adesomi, said Rivers State is the 24th state visited out of the 36 states to sensitize the states to the program.
We're here to support stakeholders in Rivers, interpret what the federal government wants to see on their program to their own context, to their own people, to their own children.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Kenneth Kobani, commended the federal government for their initiative in providing such a program, which is to lift the burden of families of the indigent persons in the society and help them to get the best education they deserve.
We commend Mr. President for this worthy initiative, and long may they continue to bring things that can positively impact the lives of the Nigerian people.
Stakeholders advise the federal government to ensure sustainability of the program. In Port Harcourt, Ifoma Omesa, NTA News.
Public sensitization on the need to adopt the site behavioral change has been advocated in addressing the persistent soot pollution in Port Harcourt and environs. Karina Igunikon reported that this was part of the report by the Technical Committee at a stakeholders meeting by the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency NOSDRA in Port Harcourt.
The stakeholders meeting by the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency NOSDRA Port Harcourt Zonal Office brought together a multi-sectoral personnel from the military and paramilitary agencies, oil companies, government regulatory agencies, the academia as well as the media to find lasting solution to the persistent soot pollution being experienced in Port Harcourt metropolis and environs.
We have a short-term plan, we have a medium-term and a long-term. So the short-term plan is to educate the people. So we are preparing a jingle that will come up very soon. So we are going to get an equipment to measure the air quality in those areas, and it will also tell us direction where these particulate substances are coming from.
Chairman of the Technical Committee, Oluwayo Ogosu, who presented the report, said the soot pollution is an accumulation of the aggregates of the neglect and poor environmental activities of both individual households, the formal and informal sectors, in addition to lack of implementation of environmental monitoring standards by relevant government agencies.
Public enlightenment and awareness as it relates to environmental issues in perspective and what we have now on ground.
NOSDRA also pledged to synergize with other environment-related agencies and collaborate with the task force set up by the Rivers State government to provide lasting solutions to the soot pollution. In Port Harcourt, Karina Igunikon, NTA News.
Joseph, it's back to you. Good evening.
Thank you. The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons is consolidating migration governance structure in Nigeria. This was explained at the geopolitical workshop in South in Benin, Edo State. Mohammed Abdul Qadir reports that the Federal Commissioner of the Commission, Sadiya Umar Farouk, was at the IDP's camp in Benin.
With the theme decentralizing the national migration dialogue process for local participation, which attracted 45 participants, was declared open by Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki, represented by the Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu, is articulating common vision for an effective migration governance structure.
In tackling the major aspect of migration, we need to look inward and look at how we can deal with the rural and urban migration.
The sensitization workshop is designed to estray the content and provisions of the national migration policy.
It is imperative to continuously mobilize the state and local government and consolidate the channels of communication.
The workshop brought to the fore the need to urgently address the plight of migrants put at over 200 million people as at 2006. It also emphasized the need to recognize migrants' contributions to the global economy. Meanwhile, the bottom-up approach for sustainable migration management system explains the visit of the Federal Commissioner to the IDP's camp in Benin to know their challenges and to give some consumable and non-consumable items. In Benin, Mohammed Abdel Kadri, NTA News.
Members of the European Union, the United States, as well as Japan have reaffirmed continued commitment towards the development of Nigeria's Niger Delta region. This came to the fore at the end of a meeting with the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Usani Uguru Usani, in Abuja. Chukwu Nonso has the report.
Huge natural endowment in Nigeria's Niger Delta region, it has over the years attracted global attention bordering on developmental issues. The meeting with the diplomats, which held behind closed doors, had the objective of addressing the challenges in the region with a win-win situation for Nigeria and her foreign partners in mind.
The crux of it is thinking together how the various activities for development in the region can be harmonized to give greater impact and reduce waste, and therefore achieve the purpose of government.
The Minister has outlined the needs that exist in the Niger Delta and has presented us with an overview of projects that could be supported.
A stable and a prosperous Nigeria is good for the region. And we as EU, we need stable neighbors, because if you look at the map, Nigeria is very close and West Africa is very close to Europe.
Dividends of the interaction, the parties say, will soon be evident in the Niger Delta region. From the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands in Abuja, Chukwu Nonso, NTA News.
In ensuring a crime-free environment within the Federal Capital Territory and its environs, the Nigerian Army Guards Brigade has smashed a gang of criminals specialized in car snatching. Parading the suspect, Guards Brigade Public Relations Officer Major Bashir Jajira said they were arrested after robbing a lady of a car. Defense correspondent Isaac Nkuma reports.
Member gang were arrested on March 6th following a report of the wife of a 7 military officer whose car was snatched at gunpoint in her daughter's school around Gudu, Apo General area. They were arrested with the stolen vehicle at the military checkpoint along FCT Kefi Road on their way to Kaduna to meet with a buyer. Preliminary investigations and follow-up operations led to the arrest of 2 other suspects who had in their possession the locally made pistols used for the operation, while one Atai, suspected to be the kingpin and owner of the arms and ammunition, is still at large.
Further investigation also revealed that Mr. Emeka Umera, Solomon Atabo and Mr. Olobo Rilwan were ex-convicts who have served various terms at Kuje and Kefi prison respectively on cases bordering on murder and arson. The suspect will be handed over to the Nigerian Police Force, FCT Command, for further investigation and prosecution.
The claimed details of the operation and contact of the buyer was given to them by a convict serving his jail term at the Kuje prisons. In Abuja, Isaac Nkuma, NTA News.
Time now to link up with Asmao for stories making the rounds in Sokoto and its environs. Asmao, what's the latest?
Thank you, Joseph. Good afternoon and welcome to Sokoto. Cross-section of Nigerians and motorists in Sokoto have commended the Nigeria Customs Service for suspending its new policy on payment of duties on imported vehicles across the country. Osman Zubairu sampled the opinion of some residents in Sokoto. His report.
Following the tension generated as a result of misconception and mispresentations of the Nigerian Customs Service on the planned motor duty payment, the leadership of National Assembly and the Comptroller General of Customs Service agreed that the proposed vehicles duty payment should be put on hold. Reacting to this, some motorists and cross-section of people who spoke to NTA News said the move has generated controversies among Nigerians on how to pay duties for cars that have already found their ways into the country.
Before the government enact any policy, especially in the case of the issue of the custom duties, then they should be able to know that all fingers are not equal.
The promises are more in Nigeria than the high people. So to make sure that they balance out the issue and consider the promises so that at least we can flow together.
Chairman Car Dealers Association, Sokoto State Branch, Alhaji Mutari Mafia, commended the National Assembly for its intervention on the matter, adding that the new policy will also hike the price of cars imported into the country. The area controller, Nigerian Customs Service, in charge of Sokoto, Kebbi and Zamfara states, Alhaji Sani Madugu, sheds more light on the new development.
It is not the Nigerian Customs Service that initiated the
Payment of this duty. It was the Car Dealers Association that approached the Nigerian Customs Service. That is why the management decided to collect this duty.
In Sokoto, Osman, NTA News.
Communities affected by lead poisoning in Zamfara State have started benefiting from a special preventive healthcare project. Residents of Ergalma village in Bukum local government area of the state are among the first beneficiaries of the project. Haliru Muhammad Umar has more.
It could be recalled that a series of lead poisoning cases occurred in Zamfara State in 2010, which resulted to loss of many lives. The unfortunate incidents followed lack of access to safe and potable water by residents of the affected communities, which led to serious waterborne diseases, among other negative consequences. It is against this background that Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation designed and executed a health intervention program of providing a solar-powered borehole in Ergalma village of Bukum local government area in Zamfara State to enable people have safe and potable water. The pilot program, which is expected to free the community from lead poison and other dissolved metallic contaminants, also includes a solar-driven borehole with water storage facility of 5,000 liters capacity. Chairman of the foundation, Justice Mamman Nasir, who commissioned and handed over the project to the community, said the intervention seeks to address the enormous challenges of perennial water supply in hard-to-reach communities in northern Nigeria. Zamfara State Governor, represented by Commissioner for Rural Development Alhaji Lawli Muhammad Liman, noted that the project would complement the state government's effort towards provision of safe drinking water, particularly in remote communities. In Gusau, Halir Muhammad Umar, NTA News.
And that's it from Sokoto. Is back to Joseph in Abuja for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Asmal. Nigerians must work for the continued unity of the country, as crisis will not bring any solution. This is the thrust of a sermon delivered at Ansaruddin Juma'ah Mosque by its Imam, Dr. Musa Olaofe. Dr. Olaofe said issue of unity should not bore Nigerians and those who have the duty to emphasize to the citizens on its importance. He said patience and tolerance with one another are virtues that people, irrespective of their belief, must imbibe.
We need to be patient, we need to endure, we need to tolerate one another, we need to discuss as one family. And Allah has already sent warning to every one of us that وَاتَّقُوا فِتْنَةً لَا تُصِبَنَّ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا مِنكُمْ خَاصَّةً. We should fear afflictions and trial, because it is not those that started it will survive, even the innocent ones. So we should live together in peace, and we should endure and be more patient in whatever we do. Allah has said that paradise is the reward of whoever can be so patient.
Abdullahi Musa Suleja reports that the Imam enjoined parents, teachers and community leaders to always lead their children and followers by example through showing love, respect, tolerance and patience among the people around them as a way of instilling the good behavior at the family and community levels. Let's quickly bring you sports news now with Ayodeji Makinde.
The second edition of the Nigerian Air Force Combat Sports Competition is set to hold in Jos, Plateau State from March 25th to 30th, with athletes from 6 commands expected to compete in 8 sports, including combat relay, combat swimming and tug of war. Chairman of the organizing committee, Air Commodore Ayodele Dudushola, who addressed the press conference in Abuja, said the competition is aimed at promoting physical fitness and fostering a spirit de corps amongst personnel.
Nigerian Air Force Combat Sport Competition project the service image and endear it to the art